Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lech Dich Moser podcast. We continue with Pele Yoeitz. We are day 23 in Hachzik, and we are on page 63 in the art scroll. Yesterday we discussed if the husband is not doing well, that a wife should not compound the issue, shouldn't make things worse, add tsar to his tsar, but rather come to him with divit tanchumim and be mefayes him and keep him in a state of bitachon, and everything's going to be okay. And the lowest level was that she should say that one day brighter times will come, that we'll have money one day, and even if not, the highest level of bitachon is where the wife tells the husband that I don't know what's going to be, I'm not promising you anything great, but if we have bitachon and we know that Hashem is lo yiznach, lo olam Hashem will never forsake us, then there'll be zeichet shulchan malei dashan aleinu haba. Their table in the next world will be fatty, it will be filled, it will be wholesome, and we know that you can't be zeiche, lo kol adam zeiche l'shtei, you can't have best in both worlds. And if we had to pick one, we'll pick the one for the next world, and that was what we discussed yesterday. And we continue in that topic, in that sugya. And even if the situation is such that Hashem indeed expanded the boundaries of her husband and granted him with material wealth. So yesterday we were talking about if he was poor, and now we're discussing that Hashem worked everything out, and Hashem took him out of this destitute situation and gave her husband material wealth. But he nevertheless is miserable when it comes to spending money for the needs of the household, or he delays their timely provisions for whatever reason. So, says the Pele Yoeitz, she shouldn't even care. So let's say he was poor and then he became rich, or he was always a rich person, but for some reason he's just not pulling through, he's not coming through, he's not taking care, he's not allocating the money properly. So what should she do? Whatever he does bring, she should prepare for him to eat. Can he possibly be angered and say to her, why have you not prepared for me delicacies such as I love? She should tell him, from where have I anything to prepare whatever you have not provided? Meaning in this way, she can avoid any confrontation, and they can continue to build a relationship and grow in bitachon together. So if the husband is great and he's providing, so great, use all of that and prepare for the husband and for the family as he desires. And if he's only bringing a little bit back, she shouldn't fight with him, she shouldn't be confrontational, rather she should just say, here, this is what you gave me and this is what I can do. And if it is regarding her lack of clothing, jewelry, and other materialistic things that people busy themselves, that she seeks to fight about, that she's upset about, that she's lacking those things, this too is futility and saps the ruach. For what does she gain by bringing strife between them? As the pasuk in Mishlei says, better a dry piece of bread and with peace with it. So what's better? Fight with your husband about everything you're lacking? Fight with your husband about everything that you're jealous about? Even though the teva of the isha is to want these things and to be machmid, to go after those things and to look around what's going around, see what's in style, see what everyone else is doing, as the Pele Yoeitz himself identified with that earlier. But nevertheless, if she doesn't have it, don't fight with your husband about it. Why? Because as the pasuk says, beautiful pasuk, ki toiv pas chareva v'shalva ba. Better a dry piece of bread and peace with it. We spoke about this before, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Parsha of Soita allows his name to be erased for the sake of Shalom Bayis. How much more so if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is willing to be moicha on his covet and have his own name, the Shem HaMeforish, the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the name of Hashem, be erased from the Torah, etched out, and dissolve in water. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being mevater on his covet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being moicha on his covet. So achas kama v'kama shetzrichim ishv'isha limchal ulevater ritzoyin mipnei shalom habayis. How much more so is it pashut, is it obvious that a man and wife should be forgiving and flexible in order to maintain peace in their home? And a wife must therefore always suspect that perhaps her husband is not as wealthy as she believes, meaning all of these expectations and quote-unquote complaining and things that she's lacking that she feels she can confront the husband about and be demanding, whatever it is, that might be based on a false pretense, on a preconceived notion that it isn't necessarily true. And therefore, as a means, a vehicle of being dalakav's chos her husband, should say, you know what, maybe my husband is not as big as a gvira as people make it, as much as I thought so, as much as people talk about it, and I don't really know what's going on exactly in the bank account. And and he does not want to tell her, me, the wife, that he can't afford these things because he doesn't want to cause his mazel to become worse. Or the greatest lekaschos is the husband doesn't want to tell the wife that he's not in a good situation because he loves his wife so much. He wants to fulfill her will. He wants to give her everything, shower her with boundless love, with all of the tachshitim, the jewelry, the gifts, but he doesn't want to tell her that he's not in a situation at that point because he doesn't want her to feel bad, to feel that she's missing even more. So sometimes it's uncomfortable for him. So says the Pele Yoeitz, you want to know what's a geretza? Just be dalakav's chos. Just give him the benefit of doubt that maybe things aren't as great and glamorous as things were, as things will be, as people make it. Because there's enough explanations that can sufficiently justify in her mind why he's not necessarily able to provide and supply in the way she wants. Therefore, she should never force the issue. She shouldn't go against his wishes by spending more money against his will without his consent. And furthermore, when her husband seems to be angry with her for no apparent reason, she shouldn't reciprocate with anger and contention, but she should be concerned. Perhaps there was something that went wrong in the marketplace and business. The stocks dropped, real estate isn't going well, the company isn't pulling through, whoever there is, many things you can conjure up. But the point is, be dalakav's chos, and it's hard and it's difficult to come to that level. And the Pele Yoeitz understands that. He identifies with this. It's not so posh. It's not so easy to just be dalakav's chos your husband. That's why he's not giving you. But conjure up whatever you can. It's what people say, whether he did something or he wasn't able to do something, he will quarrel with his wife. And while that's a statement, that's a notion in the Welt that people are going to just end up quarreling, but in Yiddishkeit it's not like that. She must realize that his emotional unrest has nothing to do with her, and she should be patient and understanding, and not anger him and trouble him even more. This is her duty, her obligation as a wife, and it's not just a duty and obligation, it's her privilege to help him through the challenges, and if she succeeds in doing so, it will make their bond even stronger.